Hello and welcome to the channel. This is a CBSE Class 10 English Language and Literature Lesson 4 from the Diary of Anne Frank. Anne Frank, a 13-year-old Jewish girl, starts writing a diary in 1942 while living in Amsterdam. She feels lonely despite having a loving family and many acquaintances because she lacks a true friend to share her thoughts with. She names her diary Kitty and treats it like a friend. Writing in a diary is new and strange for her, but she feels Pepper is more patient than people. Anne shares details about her life, including her family's move from Germany to Holland to escape the Nazis, her school experiences, and her love for her grandmother who passed away in 1942. At school, her math teacher, Mr. Kissing, gets annoyed because she talks too much in class. He assigns her essays as a punishment, first on a chatterbox, then an incorrigible chatterbox, and finally, quack, 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 said Mrs. Chatterbox. Anne writes the final essay as a funny poem about ducklings, which makes Mr. Kissing laugh. He appreciates her creativity and stops punishing her, even allowing her to talk in class. Anne Frank was a young Jewish girl born on June 12, 1929 in Germany. Her family moved to Amsterdam in the Netherlands in 1933 to escape the growing dangers from the Nazis, who were persecuting Jews. Anne's father, Otto Frank, was a businessman and her mother was Edith Frank. She had an older sister named Margaret, born in 1926. In 1942, when Anne was 13 years old, her family went into hiding in a secret annex behind her father's office building to avoid being captured by the Nazis during World War II. It was during this time in hiding that Anne started writing her diary, which she received as a birthday gift. The diary begins on June 12, 1942, Anne's 13th birthday. Writing in a diary feels strange to Anne because she has never written anything like this before. She wonders if anyone, including herself, would ever be interested in the thoughts of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. However, she feels a strong need to write to express her feelings and get things off her chest. She remembers the saying, Pepper has more patience than people, which she thinks about on days when she feels bored, depressed, or listless. On one such day, she sits at home with her chin in her hands, deciding whether to go out or stay in, but ends up staying and brooding. Anne explains why she starts the diary. She doesn't have a true friend. Although she has loving parents, a sister, about 30 people she calls friends, loving aunts, and a good home, she feels completely alone. With her friends, she can only talk about ordinary everyday things and have fun, but she can't confide in them about deeper thoughts or problems. She believes this might be her fault, as they don't get closure or share secrets. Since things are unlikely to change, she decides to use the diary as her friend. To make it more personal, she makes the diary Kitty and imagines it as a long awaited friend. She doesn't want to just list facts like most people. Instead, she wants to write to Kitty as if talking to a real person. To help Kitty and any future reader understand her stories, Anne gives a brief sketch of her life, even though she dislikes doing so. Her father married her mother when he was 36 and she was 25. Margot was born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1926 and Anne in 1929. They lived in Frankfurt until Anne was 4. In 1933, her father emigrated to Holland due to Nazi rule in Germany. Her mother joined him in September, while Anne and Margaret stayed with their grandmother in Aachen. Margaret went to Holland in December, and Anne followed in February 1934, where she was playfully presented as a birthday gift to Margot. Anne started school at Montessori Nursery and stayed until she was 6, then moved to first grade. In sixth grade, her teacher was Mrs. Kipperus, the headmistress, with whom she shared a tearful goodbye at the end of the year. In the summer of 1941, her grandmother fell ill and had an operation, so Anne's birthday that year had a little celebration. Her grandmother died in January 1942, and Anne thinks of her often and still loves her deeply. To make up for the missed celebration, in 1942 they lit a candle for her grandmother during Anne's birthday. As of June 20, 1942, the family is doing well and Anne dedicates her diary solemnly. In her first entry to Kitty on Saturday, June 20, 1942, Anne describes a school life. Her whole class is nervous about an upcoming teachers' meeting that will decide who passes to the next grade and who fails. Half the class is betting on outcomes, and Anne and her friend G.N. laugh at two boys behind them, C.N. and Jax. So, who bet their holiday savings? The boys argue all day about passing or failing. Anne isn't too worried about herself or her girlfriends except for math. She says teachers are unpredictable and about a quarter of the class might fail because they are dummies. Anne gets along well with her 9 teachers, 7 men and 2 women, but Mr. Kissing, her old math teacher, whom she calls an old fogey, is annoyed because she talks too much. After warnings, he assigns extra homework, an essay on a chatterbox, and wonders what to write but decides to think later. That evening, she chews her pen and comes up with arguments. Talking is a student's trait. She will try to control it, but it's inherited from her talkative mother, and inherited traits can't be changed easily. She writes 3 pages and is satisfied. Mr. Kissing laughs at her essay but assigns another when she talks again, an incorrigible chatterbox. Anne hands it in, and for 2 lessons there is no complaint. But in the 3rd lesson, he assigns a 3rd essay. Quack, 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 said Mrs. Chatterbox. The class laughs and Anne laughs too, but she needs something original. Her friend San, good at poetry, helps her write it in verse. The poem is about a mother duck and father swan with three baby ducklings who quack too much and get beaten to death by the father. It's a clever joke on Mr. Kissing. Mr. Kissing takes it all well, reads the poem to the class and others with comments, and since then Anne can talk without extra homework. Instead, Mr. Kissing makes jokes now. Anne signs off as yours, Anne. After the war, Anne's father found the diary, published it as the diary of a young girl, which became famous worldwide, translated into many languages, and adapted into films, plays, and more. Anne died in a concentration camp in 1945, but her diary gives a personal view of life under Nazi occupation. Thank you very much for watching till the end. Please like, share and comment on our video, and it will be very helpful for subscription to this channel. So subscribe to our channel. Thank you once again.